Hello and welcome to the fourth video on our series on labor market search frictions. In this video, we're going to finish up with the definitions by looking at the demand side of the labor market. And so the key question here is who's hiring? Because we have covered the agents in the economy that work or that look for a job, but somebody has to be there to hire them. And so firms are going to be the ones hiring workers, but in order to do that, they have to post vacancies. And so we're going to be letting A denote the number of vacancies or job positions in the economy. And the vacancy rate, it's going to be the ratio of how many vacancies there are relative to the total number of jobs that there can be. So total number of vacancies, those are unfilled positions, plus total number of employees. So those are already filled positions. And this is a number that tells us how many vacancies there are relative to how many jobs there could be. So it's very informative in this way about whether are all jobs already filled or not. Now, important to know later for the model is that when a firm needs to hire somebody, they have to pay cost. Basically, vacancies have costs that we generally call vacancy posting costs, because when they need to hire, they really treat hiring a worker like an investment. They have to pay a cost now and have an uncertain return later, depending on whether they are able to fill the vacancy or not. And these costs are, for example, the cost of advertising. You can advertise online, or earlier you will have advertised on newspapers. You have to go and interview people, which is going to take time from some of your employees. You have to go and fill paperwork. All these type of cost is going to be embedded in the vacancy posting costs that are going to measure how costly it is for a firm to just go and try to get a worker. Okay? The point here is that the firm is only willing to post these vacancies if the value of posting them is going to be higher than this cost. Then the final thing is for us to reflect for a moment in the relationship between the two key variables that our model is going to have. And those are unemployment and vacancies. So on the supply side, the key variable is going to be unemployment. So how many workers are there that want to find a job? How many people could be hired? Vacancies are going to measure how many vacancies, how many job positions are there for those people to fill. The first thing is, if you look at here in this graph, there is a negative correlation between the vacancy rate and the unemployment rate. So when the unemployment rate is high, typically the vacancy rate is low, and vice versa. That should make sense because the more vacancies there are, the more job creation there should be. So unemployment should be low when the vacancy rate is high, and vice versa. We can equivalently plot this relationship in what's called the Beveridge curve. The Beveridge curve is going to be an important feature or an important way to show how labor markets work. It's relating the vacancy rate in one axis to the unemployment rate on the other axis. And as we can see, it's generally downward sloping. That's basically that negative correlation we were discussing a moment ago. High vacancy rates are going to allow for low unemployment rates. What's interesting though is that if you compare the slope and the position of the Beveridge curve across different periods of time, it seems like it shifts. So for instance, in January 2008, the Beveridge curve seemed to relate unemployment rate to vacancy rates in this way. But fast forward to March of 2012, it looks like the Beveridge curve has shifted to the right. Now, this is important for us as economists because it's telling us something about the importance of the search frictions. Basically, before, for a given vacancy rate, you were able in the economy to generate an unemployment rate that's lower than what you can now. Now, this is important because it's saying that because you need a higher vacancy rate now to generate lower unemployment, it also means that it is more costly to employ people. And so we relate these shifts of the Beveridge curve to changes in the efficiency of matching or the importance of labor market frictions, something that we're going to come back at the end when we talk about the different comparative statics. Okay, with this we are done with our definitions and we can start our model in our next video.